Hi everyone, I'm just going to answer a question, and I thought I'll do it via video because it's easier than trying to explain it in writing. But anyway, recently in a post I was coaching a rider and I shared the video of that coaching, and I was talking to them about shifting their ping pong ball back, shifting their ping pong ball. So of course the question arose, what was I talking about when I'm talking about the ping pong ball? So what we need to do is have his center of gravity shifting back a little bit towards that back end. So you've got to think about your ping pong ball, if you can remember that concept. It's like, how do we get the ping pong ball to roll to the tip of the tailbone? So it's a bit of a funny name, but it just came up spontaneously one day when I was teaching quite some time ago now, quite a few years ago, as a way to explain to people how to shift their center of gravity back, how it's about reorganizing your pelvis to make a weight shift in yourself, which is going to influence a weight shift in the horse and help the horse's pelvis to come into a bit more flexion, which is what needs to happen when they're engaging their body more. Okay, so basically what it's about is, first of all, we think about our center. So our center is your lower abdominal area going down into the pelvic area. Okay, so that's a really important concept in all of my teaching, that we're thinking about our center in all the aspects that apply to centering. So the mental, emotional, physical and spiritual aspects of being centered. Being centered is the unification of your mind, body and spirit. So that's something that I learned a lot about in the martial arts of Aikido that I learned. So our center, lower abdominal area going down into pelvic area, and we have a center of our center. So if you go about 4 fingers below your belly button and then halfway between the front and back of your body, we've got the center of your center. So roughly here. Okay. So we're going to have a look at a pelvis to look at that in even more detail. So here is our pelvis. All right, so you can see we've got the seat bones. Okay, so you've got the sacrum here and the tailbone. So a few little vertebrae that make up our tailbone. All right, and if we look at the pelvis here, sometimes it gets referred to as being like a bowl. Okay, so we could think about, sometimes it's referred to, the pelvis is like a bowl, and imagine that we had water in that bowl, and if the pelvis is in neutral, okay, no water would be tipping out the front or the back. All right, if the pelvis is tipping down and forward into the front like this, okay, so it could be called an anterior tilt, so tilting forward, the water would be spilling out the front. And when this is happening, we're going to have more of an extreme arch in the lower back. All right, so it's normal to have a small amount of arch in the lower back, but we just don't want it to be really extreme. So the pelvis could also be rotated back this way too far, so it's like the water would be spilling out the back. Okay, and in that case the lumbar part of the spine is going to be more rounded, so if someone's a bit more in a slumped or chair seat type position. Okay, so usually we're going to think about the pelvis being in a more neutral position. So when the pelvis is in neutral, what it means is the body is more able to move in any direction at any time. So you think about like a gear stick in a vehicle, in a manual vehicle. Okay, when the gear stick's in neutral, it's basically pretty easy to move into first gear, second gear, third gear or fourth gear, because they're all equidistant from that neutral central spot. Okay, so when the pelvis is in neutral, it means it's very easy to just go back and forward between tilting back and tilting forward. So what's important to know is that riding is not a static activity. All right, So riding is about moving and trying to move in synchronicity with the horse in a way that we're not a burden to the horse.